This is Richard Raupp. He's a 5'10 goalie playing D1 at George Washington University. Born from New York, Richard grew up playing on nationally ranked teams, traveling overseas, and learning the most important skills young goalkeepers get wrong.
I used to be a psycho when I was younger.
But how hard is it to actually be the number one? I mean, you're just standing there, right?
It is the loneliest position.
What was life like growing up for you?
Life growing up was primarily based around soccer, I feel like. Ever since a young age, my dad played soccer in college, and kind of just wanting to get to that next level, he really helped me push through into soccer, putting my best foot forward through everything. And I've just been surrounded around a soccer ball my whole life. I feel like a lot of my friends when I was younger played soccer.
Did you have any family members or cousins or something that had a lot of success in athletics? Doesn't have to be soccer.
My dad played soccer in college, like I said, and me and my dad have a very, very close relationship. He played at Sacred Heart, and I thank him a lot for a lot of my success because he was always the one that pushed me to that next level, that really gave me that extra boost of motivation that I needed. He was always just looking out for me. Like, dads can be hard on you sometimes. They like to push you, but once I got older, I realized it was all for the best. He just wanted to see me succeed, and he just wanted to put me in a good position that I can succeed. He's told me a lot that he's very proud of me, and he always tells me the old stories about how he came into college as a striker and got converted to center back and scored more goals as a center back than I did as a striker. I remember when I was taking my SATs in high school, and he was telling me how first SAT he ever took, he got like an 800 on it. Completely bomb this thing. And he's like, don't do what I did. He's like, you have to study for it. You have to do this. So he's got a lot of the experience from there that he passes down to me. But also I tell him, like, Dad, like, I was back in the day. I'm like, things are a lot different now,
What was club soccer versus high school soccer for you?
I want to say the biggest difference between club and high school is it's a whole different level once you step on for club, because I played for a very good club team. We went to nationals 3 times. We were number 1 in the country for like 2 years. Club soccer was fun because it's playing high level, high intensity. We were doing well. We were very successful. With high school soccer, I got to play with all my best friends that I grew up with. It was just fun, but also the level wasn't really, like, you weren't out there to get better, really, so to say. You're just kind of there to have fun with your friends and just making those fun memories. Junior year of high school, we went to the state final. We had no shot of ever making this. Like, if you would have told us in the beginning of the year that we would be playing in the state final in November, we would have laughed at you. It was comical. But we had such a tight core group of guys. We were all best friends, essentially. We were all in the same friend group, and we ended up going on like a 10-game unbeaten run right in the playoffs, made it to the state finals. And after the game, we were like, how did we make it this far? And it was a great time. None of them played college soccer except for one of them. Like, I do not regret playing high school soccer at all. Like, a couple of my friends, especially that I played college with, they never played high school soccer, and they were like, well, what is it like? I'm like, you guys missed out on a good time. Don't take anything for granted. Like, high school soccer flew by, but it was a great time.
Did you play any other sports growing up other than just soccer?
My parents loved getting me active at a young age, I'd say. I played soccer, baseball, lacrosse. My dad wanted me to play baseball too, he told me. He said, he's like, I wish you stuck around with baseball. He's like, you're really good. And I'm like, I played all 3 sports growing up, and then there came a certain point in time where I had to choose between one sport or the other 2. I chose soccer, and God, it paid off because now I'm playing in college, but soccer was just the one that felt right.
What other steps do you think led you to become a college athlete today?
I think what set me apart from a lot of my peers is I didn't let anything really stop me from doing what I wanted. I have that mentality, and a lot of my friends get on me for it. They say I'm a little bit too competitive, but I will not let anybody beat me in anything, no matter what it is. Like, especially now in college, like, we'll do all the vertical jump tests in the weight room, all these tests, and I get so mad whenever somebody beats me. It's always been like that, even throughout high school, and I loved making myself the best player I can. I'm not the tallest. I sat down with one of my coaches, I remember, at ODP camp, and he said to me, like, look, like, you need to have something that sets you apart from everybody else. You need to bring something to the table that's going to put you ahead of these guys that are 6'2", 6'3". Show me something that they can't do. And I was like, okay, like, my feet. And after that, all I did was work on distribution, goal kicks, passing, anything that involved my feet, I did. I feel like that also came with the competitive drive that I have. Like, not gonna let somebody beat me out for something. Like, I have to get it. But you still have those rough patches where, beginning of my freshman year, I came into preseason so out of shape. I didn't play it during the fall. I got a concussion halfway through. That was terrible. And I sat down with my coaches at the end of the year. They pretty much told me, like, look, like, you need to make something happen to show us something. Like, you haven't really shown us anything. And after that, I went right to work. I I was in the gym 3 extra times a week with my strength and conditioning coach, just trying to get quicker, just trying to do anything I can to separate me from that number one guy. I went home during the summer. I played 5-6 days a week. I would train on my own every single day, whether it was in the gym or on the field. I brought that competitive edge to the season this year. That's always stuck with me throughout my whole entire life, is that competitiveness and that drive. I can't stand seeing someone do better. It's such a bad thing to say. I look back sometimes and I'm like, I kind of seem like a bit of a dick. It didn't work out as best as I wanted to. You know, like, stuff happens, injuries, people don't see it the way you see it. You know, people have different opinions. But I haven't let that stop me. I keep at it every day.
Have you always been a goalkeeper? Like, did you play like on the field before?
I've been a goalkeeper for as long as I can remember. I don't remember what age I got stuck in goal. My dad tells me it was like probably when I was like 5 or 6. We were actually talking about this the other day. He said like one game I just got thrown in goal and I played good, and he was like, all right, you're not leaving there, you stay. I've always enjoyed it. I like playing the field too. Like, I love playing rondo with my teammates. They hate it when I play though, because they don't like it when the goalies step in, but I just love doing it. It's great. I love just perfecting my craft to the point where I hate not being in. Especially when I was younger, like they were like, oh, you want to come out now? We're winning 5-0. You still don't want to come out now? Just like stay in it.
I know you said you had a concussion, but did you have any like big injuries, or did you have like a big injury in your career?
This one hits the spot because I'm coming off a shoulder surgery 4 weeks ago in January for the spring season. I trained the whole winter. Come first day of practice, I end up making a save on my left side, fully extended. I saved it, thank God, but I hit the ground on my arm. I landed straight on my arm, flat out. Shoulder popped right out. Ended up popping it back in. I knew I couldn't play. It was my shoulder. Felt terrible. Sat out of practice for 3 weeks. Came back. 5 days later, I make a save coming over the top with my left arm. Completely blow my shoulder out. Tore my labrum right up. Ended up having like a fractured bone in there too. Just so much went wrong in that time. And I ended up getting an MRI. I got surgery a week later. And yeah, I've been recovering since then. 4 weeks out from tomorrow.
Do you happen to like FIFA at all? Or do you have any other like leisure activities that you enjoy to do outside of soccer?
I used to be a big FIFA player. Ever since I got to college, I kind of stopped. But I'm like an old man for some reason. I love playing golf, and it's so much fun to play. During preseason, I was trying to get a bunch of my buddies to go play. We're like, no, we're dead. I'm like, what do you mean? Just go play a quick 9. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But I love playing golf. I live right on the water back home. I love going to the beach, going on the boat, hanging out with my friends, going fishing too. I'm pretty active outside of soccer.
What did your training schedule look like growing up versus now?
So we would practice at ODP Monday nights. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I would have club practice. Friday, I'd have off. And then Saturday, I would have a game, or Sunday, I would have a game. So I was playing probably 5 out of the 7 days a week. Compared with college, we practice pretty much every day. But in season, we have games during the week. In the spring, our schedule right now, it's wake up, go get my coffee, go to lift, go practice, come home, eat, go to class for the whole day, come home, eat, study, and then do it all again. I have no problem with it. I'm a man of routine. I don't mind doing the same thing every day. So I love this guy.
What about inspiration or motivation? Growing up now, is there like a player or a club or a team that you really follow or that really inspired you growing up?
I think growing up, probably Casillas. Casillas is the greatest keeper of all time. You can disagree with me, you can agree with me. I think he's the greatest keeper of all time. Now, Ederson. I'd say Ederson is one of the biggest, because it's like he can do unreal things with the ball and make it look so easy. And it's like, okay, kind of want to do that. Like, that's a nice thing to have, you know? So I'd say now it's Ederson, but growing up was definitely Casillas.
What about COVID, that whole era? How did that impact soccer, your life, for you?
COVID definitely had a very big impact. The dead period happened with NCAAs. I lost all schools that were talking to me. All Division I offers I had pulled out. So then from there, it was kind of like starting from square one. I had to get all the film I had to create the best highlight tape I can, all to do this while coaches can't come see me play. So that was the biggest thing that impacted me. Thank God George Washington saw me play before COVID, and I kept in contact with them. I ended up committing here. But that was the biggest thing I'd say probably was the recruitment process with soccer. Also, from a personal standpoint with soccer, I felt like I took a step back from the game during COVID because I couldn't do anything. We couldn't have club practice. I used to be a little tiny skinny kid that would get bodied. I started going to the gym, but I didn't train like a soccer player. I trained like straight bodybuilder. I was pumped up on any muscle group. I was like, I want that. I don't want to look like that. But that came to hurt me during preseason. I just wanted to look good. I wanted to be big. And that was the biggest mistake I made in my life. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made.
Yeah. I saw that you played in some Mediterranean International Cup in Barca. You want to just talk about your experience about that?
And so that was with the ODP regional team. That was my sophomore going to junior year of high school. Prior to that, I never made the ODP regional team. A lot of my friends made it. I never made it. Played well in the camp. Ended up getting selected for the interregionals, which is they bring us down to IMG Academy for a week. And then from that, they pick 18 kids to go to a tournament. I ended up making the trip to go. We went to Spain for 10 days, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. The level of competition in that tournament was unreal. So we ended up winning our first 3 games. Again, 2 of them were against local teams in Spain, and 1 was from Brazil. We get paired up with Juventus in the round of 64, 32. I can't remember which one. We tie them 0-0 throughout the game. No extra time, just go straight to penalties. I'm in for the penalties, and they end up missing. I didn't save them. They missed all 3 of them. Either hit the bar or the post, or 1 went over. I look back on it, and it was so silly. But the last penalty they took, he missed. And I end up running to the corner, and I slide right on my stomach. Whole team piles on top of me. And I look back on that, I'm like, I didn't save 1 penalty. I didn't touch 1 penalty, but it was just so fun in the moment to think like you flew all the way here just to beat a team out like that. It was the most excitement I've ever had. And then next game we end up playing Villarreal, and we're thinking, all right, coming off a good win, we can beat them. We lose 4-0. We didn't touch the ball for more than 30 seconds the whole game. These kids were playing around us like we weren't even there. Their 6 was the best center defensive midfielder I have ever seen. He's actually playing pro right now for the first team. He signed, I saw him on Instagram back then, and he signed in our first team. That game was just, I was like mesmerized watching. And then we watched a couple other teams. We saw Crystal Palace play. Their goalkeeper, actually, that played in that tournament, we were hanging out with them at the hotel. The goalkeeper that was on that team that we were hanging out with recently just played for the first team. His name is Joe, I'm pretty sure his name is. So it was cool to think, like, I hung out with this kid for a couple of days. Like, now he's playing in the Prem against Saka and Martin Odegaard and Aaron Ramsey. I'm 19 years old. I'm playing in college. He's playing against all these clubs. I'm like, Jesus. Like, it's crazy how. But no, we saw Xavi Simons play too.
No way.
Yeah, they stayed in our hotel, and we actually, all the teams were stayed in the same hotel, and we saw Raul Gonzalez, who's the coach of Real Madrid U19s at the time, and I got a picture with him, which was pretty funny.
Back to goalkeeping. What do you think is the most important skill for a goalkeeper?
Definitely the ability to handle yourself mentally. I see a lot of goalkeepers at a young age that do not know how to handle themselves mentally. They give up a goal, they freak out, they start screaming at the defense. Once that happens, you've lost your whole team. I've done it. I'll own up to it. I've done it before, and it's happened to me. I've had teammates scream at me. I used to be a psycho when I was younger. I didn't know how to talk to my teammates, but I'd say definitely the ability to handle yourself mentally, because that is the difference between winning and losing a game. What you say to your teammates is what's going to motivate them, but it's also going to bring them down if you don't know how to deliver it. Especially in college now, you're with these guys a lot. You see them every day. One wrong comment during a game is going to set them off like that. Especially if you're down and you need to get back in the game, you don't want to be screaming at your teammates, because they are the first ones to know that they screwed up. Your coach will tell them. Coaches will tell you if you screwed up. The last person they need to hear is from me, because that is the difference between winning, losing a game, and taking yourself to that next level too of matureness.
Was there any like scary moments or fears that you've had to deal with so far? I mean, you've had surgeries, you had a lot of training. I mean,
definitely the surgery I had recently, because once I found out I had to get surgery, I thought it was the end of the world. Called my dad, breaking down in tears. I couldn't face the fact that I was going to be out for the next 6 months, because in my head I already had so much planned for the spring. I had so much planned for the summer. I was going to work like I've never worked in my life. I was going to motivate all my time and effort into preparation for the fall season, because I had that end goal in mind that I wanted to be the best I can for me and my teammates. And it hit me like a bus. I was torn mentally. I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know if I would ever play again, but I kept at it. I accepted the fact that I was going to be hurt. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I've had the best support throughout anybody. My teammates, especially my family, my friends, my parents, like everybody around me has been there for me, and I feel like that has been the biggest help on getting through this. I've also come to the conclusion that it's not the end of the world. It's just a little bump in the road. I have to control what I can control, and these are one of those things that I can't control. So I just have to deal with that, and I have to move on.
We were just talking about penalties, but what's your strategy, in your opinion, when stopping a penalty? Do you have like a specific method how you go about it?
I like to take as long a time as possible for the shooter to take it. I believe that if I get him to start thinking, then he can mess up. I can't have him take this penalty so quickly, because before he even gets that ball, he knows where he wants to put it. If I can take as much time as I can before he gets that ball and steps up and hits it, then I have him beat. I don't like to move around a lot so much. I'm not a big trash talker. I take as long as I can, maybe like untie my shoe, untip my glove, take a sip of water, walk around the net if I have to, just so I can get him to think. Maybe he thinks I'm going here. Where should I go? Because it's just little things that can throw you off.
What's your favorite versus least favorite part about being a college athlete for you?
I see that my favorite part about playing soccer in college is that I am kept in line, and it keeps me in great shape physically and mentally. That's my favorite part about it, is it keeps me in line. Probably my least favorite part about it is the mental side of it. Mental health is a big thing with college athletes, and from someone who never had mental health issues growing up, coming to college and facing the facts is a big thing. And I've never been one to open up to people. I've always been quiet. I've always done my own thing, but being a college athlete, mental health is a real thing, and that takes a toll on a lot of people. And it's a very common thing within college athletes.
How are games on the road versus at home for you?
So games on the road, nothing really changes. You know, I do the same thing every game day when I wake up. I drink the same thing, I eat the same thing, I listen to the same music. Nothing changes to get myself prepared for that game. The only thing that changes is where you're playing. But home games are a lot of fun. In the fall, I'm going to be in a full suit in the day of a game, just to look good, feel good. I don't know. It's a little silly, but you know, it's funny. I feel like you're just a little bit more comfortable at home too, because you've been practicing on that field. But for me, it's kind of like, I don't get intimidated by big crowds. I've never been one to really fall into like the pressure. It's definitely more relieving to win at home because you have your fans in front of you, but who doesn't love a nice away win?
Was there anything that you learned along the way, whether it's in college or in club, that surprised you or that you didn't think was going to happen?
I'd say the biggest thing that I've learned is to take my grades very serious. Growing up, I hated doing schoolwork. I'm sure like 95% of kids our age don't like to do schoolwork, especially at a young age in high school. Your grades mean everything. You are not going anywhere without your grades. Your grades are what follows you for the next 4 years and what determines your life ahead of that.
What was your proudest moment so far in your career? It can be on the field, it can be off the field. What was something that you were like really, really proud of yourself?
Probably the first game I started in last year. We've just come off a 4-1 loss against UMass. Got beat out terribly. It was a away conference game against St. Bonaventure at Bonnie's. I was nervous. I never get nervous. I just put my headphones in, told myself to calm down, talked to my dad for a little, and that was when I was like, all right, like, you know, like I'm ready. We went out, won 3-0. I didn't really have much action, but it was still a great win because that day I kind of sat back after the game. I was like, you know, like all the troubles and all the hard work and all like everything I've been through in my life to get to this point has been worth it. Just to play this game today and win, have everything finally fall into place, has been worth it.
On the other side, what was your biggest struggle you had to deal with?
Definitely mental health. And I'd say the toughest time I dealt with it was I thought I came in and I thought I was playing really good. And we were playing Navy. The starting spot for that game was up for grabs. It was all about who played better in practice that week. I had a good week at practice, but I didn't have the best week. And, you know, I got outbeat by somebody else on my team. That was a tough pill to swallow because that's like I've worked so hard and I'm not getting rewarded for it. And I kind of fell out of love with playing soccer for a little bit. I was questioning, why did I come back? Why am I playing? Why am I doing this? Everything was just why? And, you know, it took me a couple weeks to finally get out of that stage, but it was tough. It wasn't fun because it was not something I want to go through again. I didn't even want to show up to practice half the time. I didn't like being there. I spoke to a lot of people around me. I spoke to a couple people from back home that I grew up playing for, and they said, like, look, like you have to do everything that you can do, that you can control. What you can't control, you can't control. There's nothing you can do. You just have to get through it. I remember talking to my goalie coach. He just kept saying to me, your time will come. Your time will come. Just keep at it. Keep chipping off the block. Like, keep at it. Keep getting at it. And your time will come. And, you know, he was right.
Do you think that's like very similar to like the hardest thing about being the goalkeeper is that most teams they carry 2, 3, or sometimes 4, and at the end of the day you only need 1 and you're not gonna get subbed on halftime. Is that like one of the hardest things for you that you've had to like go through?
That was definitely what it was. It's like, it is the loneliest position. That is 100% true. At the end of the day, you have all these other field players. Teams carry 25, 30 guys. You don't make that substitution halfway through the game. If one guy's playing well, you're gonna go with it. And if he makes one mistake, everybody makes a mistake, but you can only go with one guy. You cannot go with 2. You cannot go with 3. You can only go with one guy.
What's the future looking like for you after soccer? What's the dream goal for you? It could be a coach, it could be a professional athlete. Do you have like the specific business business you want to start?
Yeah, I'd say I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. Time's running out for that, so I have to figure that out. But I can't wait to see where these next couple of years take me. If the chance to play after college comes, I'm gonna jump on it. But I'm just looking to do as well as I can in school right now and just try and give me that edge. I have no idea what's gonna happen in 3-4 years. I can't choose that path right now. It's what I do along the way that's gonna get me there. So I have no idea what the future's gonna look like, but I'm excited to see where I end up.
What is your best advice for a young goalkeeper or even any player?
My biggest advice for a young goalkeeper is find somebody that you enjoy to watch play. Don't model your game after them, because realistically, it's very unrealistic that you're going to be like that. Find something that you're good at. It doesn't have to be everything. As long as you have one thing that sets you apart from somebody else, you will get noticed. As long as you just keep working hard and keep trying to perfect your craft, you won't go unnoticed. Definitely, if I was in this position 5 or 6 years ago and I would tell myself something, it would be just work hard. Work as hard as you can, but also have fun while doing it. You want to have fun during the whole process. That is why people love the game, is because they have fun playing. There comes a fine line between taking it too seriously and having fun. Try and remain right there, where you're having fun, but you're also taking it very seriously.
A massive thanks to Richard. Go drop him a follow, and if you want to see more, check this video out.